BVI, baby. British Virgin Islands, this one's for us. Put your hands up. BVI, yes. And BVI. Hunt, sing BVI, wave them to the sky, rock from side to side.
Good day and welcome to the Vigilate Dialogues. I am your host, Shayna Smith-Archer, welcoming you to the National Boardroom. If this is your first time tuning into our program, each week we talk with our guests about issues affecting our quality of life and the solutions to them. The Vigilate Dialogues is sponsored by Smith & Associates, your business planning and project management specialist. Call us at 340-1199 to schedule a free consultation. Out of my many hats, as always, I tell you guys, I am Shayna, taxpayer today. And with me, having today a woman of impact, one of my good friends, Miss Alicia Green, business owner and community activist. Welcome, Alicia. Again.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on your show, Shayna. It's always a pleasure. And I'm also honored to be identified as one of your lady bosses or women of impact for the BVI. Thank you.
Yes, and again, it's so important. If this is your first time catching it, the purpose of the series is in terms of, one, we need to recognize each other and the hard work and the impact we're making on our communities. It's so important that, we're making a difference. And also to encourage other young women to do the same, right? So there's a quote I found actually while I was researching for this saying, here's to strong women, may we be them, may we rear them, and may we follow them.
Amen.
So Alicia, tell us about yourself. Anything, however you want to share, wherever you want to start.
I know, yeah, it's going to tell you about myself, but as you were just talking about the women and rearing them, it's so funny. I don't know, I know it's God's design, but I have a son. So I have to sometimes think a little different because I'm raising a son. So I try to raise him to respect and know how to treat the woman. Awesome. So it's a little...
And that's like a show in itself.
Yes. Although I'm an advocate very much for empowering women and making sure that we are our best selves, our job is also to teach to the men and the women about being their best selves. So a little about me.
Yes.
I grew up in BVI between Purcell Estate, Huntamscott. I was blessed to have two sets of parents, and I would not have changed that for the world because both of them had an impact on who I am today. Yes.
Awesome. So you've always lived in the BVI?
Yes, I have. And after graduating high school is when I started to get exposed to the rest of the world through travels to the UK and different countries.
Okay. So what inspired you in terms of your career? How would you say you were inspired in terms of your career choices?
Well, the first thing I will say is that I am a technical person. I'm hands-on. So I knew definitely in my gut that I wanted to do something that will involve that aspect as well as something I will enjoy. Something that I would want to wake up every morning to go and do. Okay, so after high school, the thing to study at the time was business administration. Because I didn't want to be a scientist, so the sciences were out. I wasn't going to be an artist, so that was definitely out. So business administration, I did those courses in high school. I started there. And my dad was also a supporter, yes, study the business admin because, of course, I grew up in the family business. And so it would have aligned nicely. But when I got to UVI, because I started there, and I started to take some computer classes, I was like, hey, I like this. I really like, the problem-solving part of it and the programming and so forth. So I switched from business admin to go into computer tech. And so from there, it went on. I did my master's in applied information tech, and I did project management because, they had to tie. And so that's where it all started for me from a career perspective. I will also say that during that process, I think that entrepreneurship or leadership was in my DNA. From a youth. Again, being around my father's business, going there every afternoon after school, watching him, watching how they did things. I always, I guess grew up with that mindset. I am going to be a leader or own my own business someday. And so that is why I took the courses I did, because it was practical.
Yeah.
It's things that's going to help me every day.
And in terms of where you saw yourself now in the future,
Exactly.
what your skill sets you needed too. Awesome. I like that you never thought about, it's all about getting a job. But it
Right.
was more about, being actually a job creator, as it were, by having your own business.
Exactly. And funny you say that, because if I look at the two sets of parents, one was get a job, do this, do that, and the other one was more independence, more independence.
Work
you
for
kinda-
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So what has been the best thing along the way in terms of your journey?
The best thing for me, especially where I sit now, is the people that I have met throughout the journey. People that have import information into me, made an impact on my life, and people that I have met that I had to deal with, serve throughout the process. And it's funny because recently I had a conversation with another woman saying, because they had a mindset of, we were talking about service
Okay.
and customers. Everybody's a customer. And we meet so many different types of people, some of them more difficult than others. But you have to sit back and say sometimes, if they're treating you a certain way, it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's just where they are right now. And sometimes you have to help them through. So the people that I have met and had to interact with definitely were able to frame who I am today and how I learn
Okay.
to deal with different people.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And it sounds as if then you don't really let stuff challenge you, because then you figure out how to flip it
But
and
I
make it a
like that.
positive.
If you don't come up with those obstacles, then that problem-solving part of you will not evolve and it will not develop.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like when I meet challenges.
Okay.
And then that's when you would tap into your mentors and your motivators to say, well, listen, I'm having this challenge. I try to do it this way. What do you think? And then they will be there to inject exactly what you probably could do a different way to make it work.
Okay.
So another set of folks that really helped me were my mentors.
Okay. Awesome. So in terms of challenging then, or any challenges, what would you say were some of the challenges in your career? Or were there any?
Definitely the worst, Shayna. I don't think anybody would be honest if they sit in your chair and say they didn't have challenges.
Yeah.
And some of the challenges are our own people, our own selves, who would try to deter you
Okay.
or beat you down from doing certain things. And then if you are trying to get from here to here, to say, all right, I'm going to start at this position, but I eventually want to be the lead on this. But every time you are a step close to being the lead, the pendulum moves. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do the other.
The goalpost keeps
Yes,
stretching
it
out.
keeps shifting. So that was a challenge in itself.
Okay.
On one instance. So the people would be, I have to try to be politically correct on your show because I don't want to, and sometimes you need to say things the way they are because
Yeah.
we keep putting things under the table, they will never
is
be
true.
resolved.
Yeah.
But I would stick to that the people sometimes are our issue.
Yeah.
But again, I've learned and I've traveled, so I know how to,
The exposure gave you experience in
Yes.
terms of how to deal with it.
definitely.
Okay. And I think that's it's an important point that you make, because I know for me, as part of my career, one of a similar challenge, I would say, in terms of advancement, and especially for us seeing each other and valuing each other, right? And recognizing one another's potential and giving you that professional respect, because I think that is so key. That we do that for each other in order to encourage, because
That's
you know,
right.
we're only as strong as our weakest link. So if all of us are excelling at our own level of potential, then that can only be a win for everybody.
And that is correct. And one of the things we need to remember is everyone is bringing something different to the table to achieve that end goal.
Yeah.
To achieve the success that we've agreed from the beginning.
Yeah.
And so with what you said, respecting each position and each potential is key.
Yeah, very, very important.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us a little bit. So, you're into business, you do consultancy work, as I would say it, but you do a lot of community activism through WIN as well as Rotary Club. Share about that.
Yes, so going back to purpose, I mentioned earlier about service. And it's just so ironic that eventually I ended up going into nonprofit organizations like Women in Need. I'll tell you how I came about with that, and also now being a Rotarian. So I'm wearing many hats, but I love it because in all of them, I am providing a service. I'm serving, I'm helping, and I like that. At the end of the day, when I look at someone achieve that I was able to provide some type of solution for them, it makes me feel fulfilled.
Okay.
All right? Even in the corporate environment, helping them with solutions, and when they win, I win. So I feel fulfilled about that as well. So the Women in Need organization that I started, we legalized the entity, let's say in 2014.
Okay.
But I met a young lady at the time in the late 90s in St. Thomas. And she started the WIN Foundation, Dr. Tracy Kemble.
Okay.
And when I listened and saw, and I had also the opportunity to travel to see what they were doing over there, I am like, we can do the same thing in BVI. We have some of the same problems in BVI. So I can do this. I can help the women in the BVI be their best definition of themselves, be their better selves, empower them, inspire them to do things that they want to do to fulfill their dreams, no matter what state they are along the journey of life.
Yeah.
And so we had a conversation, and I took the model and I brought it here to BVI. Now, one of the joys of that for me is, again, not only helping the women, but listening and learning from them, learning the stories.
Okay.
When we hear women in need, we think of people that are less fortunate than others, and it's not always the case, Shayna.
There's different levels of need.
There's different levels of need.
Yeah.
And you have professionals that are in need. Now, because of our culture, they probably won't come forward to some place like a family support network or a WIN, but we want to tell them it's okay to come forward to WIN because that is who we are. Those are the types of women that we want to encompass into the program, not only
Someone
who has a different type of need from abusive situations or whatever. So we want to empower all women. It doesn't matter. We have a program running online now called Reclaiming Me.
Okay.
And that is such a successful program right now for the last 8 months. And we facilitate that program from BVI, and it's all walks of women coming through, all walks of women. So we have a nice sisterhood online.
Okay.
We do it through Zoom. Every Thursday we meet, and it's been really fulfilling, and they will tell you that it's definitely helping them along the journey. So that's an empowerment series that we do for all women.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter your background. Anybody
No.
can enroll.
Anybody can come in. And so on the hard side of WIN now, we've been working with the likes of FSN, BVI Hands Free, especially during the COVID lockdown when persons really were not able to mentally cope with this being locked up in a house. You can't get out,
And then everything
you can't
around
work.
us just started changing,
Everything started changing. So again, we were that resource to reach out, check in mentally with persons, make sure that their needs are being taken care of. And I actually enjoy that.
Okay.
And that is what propelled us to do more outreach.
Okay.
Let persons know more that you can contact WIN if you need that extra push, for anything. There are some programs that we want to put in place through WIN for women, again, to help them, because when you have been knocked down, if you don't have the right support from a holistic point of view, it's going to be difficult for you to really get back there. And as the visionary for the group, one of the things that helped me to not only balance for myself, but with the program, is to maintain a spiritual father, spiritual leader, and also that professional leader as well. So you kind of blend the two together to help you to keep your vision focused and what you really want to do. And so with that, what we've decided to do is create programs that would help that woman, whatever her solution needs to be, reform back into society. It may be helping her with how to do job interviews, helping her with how to dress, how to speak. They sound very basic, but guess what? They are needed, especially with the younger, that 18 to 35 age group of women. It is needed. And so we have resources, we have partners. Sometimes they need mental coaching. We have partners, again, that deals with that. But the key thing is, if they can't afford to pay, then WIN would be the sponsor to pay. And that is where we try to get our funding, our sponsors, our partners to align with WIN, so that we are able to return.
And help more people.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you just tuned in, you're tuned in to the Vigilate Dialogues. I'm your host, Shayna Smith-Archer. And with me today, I have Woman of Impact, Alicia Green, who is a business owner and a community activist. You just heard us talking about how big, that's like your pet project, as it were, in terms of the WIN program. And just so that persons know, Mrs. British Virgin Islands is attached to that, right?
It is. And we get a lot of questions asked, what are you guys doing? Pageants, you know? Pageants are great. I grew up through a pageant. It wasn't anything that I had planned. I was asked to do it, and I was open, and I received the invitation, and I just did it. I didn't even...
You just took up the challenge.
I just took the challenge, and I was successful, right? So what I would say from that, and then tie the two together, is being a part of that pageant, it definitely, again, made an impact on who I am today. The personal development that you get from the coaching and the directions and the exposure, it helps you also on your journey. So why we choose that platform for the women? Because it helps to empower women to build their confidence, build a self-esteem, build a self-love that they need to have for themselves, no matter what age you are. And then what we do is take that opportunity to offer them, because they're going through a transformation as well. You offer them the opportunity to be an ambassador, to be able to not only represent women within the BVI, but they get to go to an international pageant, an international platform where they can share, where they can learn, and where they can build for themselves. We've been doing that since 1998. I was actually the first one to go off to Greece. And then after that, we've had Sabina Clement and others. But I know persons, while they will not remember way back, they would definitely remember the ambassadors that we have now, most recently, and every one of them, if you were to speak with them, they will tell you their journey from the day one to the end to now. And what that exposure has done for them. And so we feel, as WIN, Women in Need, being there to empower and inspire, that we can tie the two and say, because some people that's gone through the program, they have pageantry background, but they've gone through the program to continue their self-development, and then they can be ambassadors wearing a crown. You know, sometimes when you wear a crown, you get more attention.
Just a little bit more.
They will listen to what you have to say. And so that's what that that really does, and that's why we do it through WIN. We use it as our major fundraiser because we know people like that type of thing. And again, you sitting in the audience, you're looking at that person and saying, boy, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
You know?
You take your hats off.
Yeah, you have your moments.
Yeah.
And so we use that to, again, help women
Awesome.
through whatever they need.
Yeah. And I think that's so important because, again, there's this pre-notion about what pageants are about, and, you know, some of it is heresy. Some of it is people's, their experience. But in terms of it having a positive intent, I think it's something that's often missed. And importance of, again, using your platform now to help others make a difference in their lives and what it is they want to do.
Because I had no experience. And it's the same thing I tell the women now that show interest. We don't want a perfect person.
Yeah.
No experience whatsoever
No
necessary.
experience necessary.
Because by the time we finish with you, you will be a different person.
Yeah.
You will be a different person. That is guaranteed.
That's guaranteed. That's awesome.
So that's WIN, and that's Mrs. BVI. And it's funny you brought it up because I'm not sure, you know, how things will develop, but we are going to be crowning our new ambassadors in the coming week.
Okay.
So
We look forward to
we're
that.
looking forward to 2021.
Yeah.
We had a rough 2020, but to God be the glory, it's gone
Yeah.
behind us and forward now
Yeah.
to do what we have to do.
Yeah, because the work
according
is
to the
still
divine.
very much necessary.
That's correct.
Very much necessary. All right, so what motivates you? I think you've touched on this, but, you know, in terms of passion, and I heard you use the word purpose a lot. So what do you see as your purpose and your passions in life?
Again, I would say in terms of purpose, my passion, what motivates me to get up every morning is knowing that I have that purpose to fulfill in terms of serving. Okay? There are many mornings when I would get up and I would be questioning or asking God, what is this or why is this? And if this is what you have for me to do, all right, let me be open and obedient and just do it. And so sometimes it's a quick mindset shift and you just do it.
Yeah.
You're going to meet the challenges, you know,
Yeah.
but sometimes you have to say a verse.
And
Sometimes
remind
you have to sing a
yourself.
song and
Yeah.
saying this is not about you. It's
Yeah.
about the bigger picture.
Yes.
About your journey, and you just go through.
Very
You just go
important.
through.
Awesome. So what would you tell a young woman, you know, thinking about pursuing similar goals, whether it's to be a business owner or, you know, being involved in their communities? What advice would you give?
When I think about being a business owner, because I do have Integral Professional Services, that's my private business, consulting business. And I think earlier I told you that entrepreneurship was in my DNA.
Yeah.
Because from high school, I mean, my mom, she couldn't afford to send me to college. And so many people probably don't know this, probably just my classmates, if they're watching the show. I used to sell popcorn in the class.
Okay.
So my mom would get up in the mornings and pop the corn. We package them.
Okay.
And I go with my big paper bag
Full
to
of
school.
okay.
Full of my popcorn, and I would sell the popcorn in the class. Sometimes we're having tests, and I would just feel a nudge on my shoulder. Send the corn, you know? So then I would dig into the bag, send it back, and then the money comes up. Right? So that, and I was raising my money to go to college.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my first taste into being an entrepreneur. And at the end of the day, I go home and I take the money to my mother. We put it up until, you know, we saved it. And then, of course, you had to reinvest it to buy more corn.
Yeah.
Because she was teaching me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
reinvest it to buy more corn, you pop your corn, etc. And then fast forwarding now as an adult finishing college, I came back and I tried to work a job, but
Didn't work out.
no, it didn't. It didn't feel right, and
Yeah.
that's because you weren't being allowed to do what it is you know you can do. I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do to help you to do this thing better.
Okay.
You understand what you were too? It was too restrictive.
Yeah. Yeah, people are trying to define the box.
Yes. And so, again, I jumped off of that bandwagon and I started, back in those times, CompuSol.
Okay.
It was a computer company. We did training, and I started out from zero. I started it from in one of my bedrooms. Okay? And again, grew that business to take me to do my master's.
Okay.
After I did that, I stayed away for a bit.
Okay.
And again, that exposure overseas definitely helped me to get a wider experience and encompass a lot of different things.
Okay.
That after a while I said, man, if I'm doing this for somebody, I'm sure, I can go back home and be, benefit
Benefit your community.
some of the things that are happening. So I tried.
She said she tried. Well, nothing beats a trial and a failure, so you tried.
Yeah, but I tell you what, when I came back, I think it was one of the best positions I've had and that I've enjoyed.
Okay.
And that was working with the International Finance Center, now BVI Finance.
Okay.
I really enjoy that because, yes, it did allow me to be sort of an entrepreneur in that seat, creating programs that, marketing, creating programs that we feel would sell the BVI in the best way possible to different geographic locations.
Okay.
And I like that. I like going out, meeting the challenges of the people and coming back and trying to come up with a solution. And so going into that came IPS.
Okay.
And so I jumped off, said, I'm going to do IPS. I'm going to be that intermediary to still have an opportunity to sell BVI because that, I believe in that. I think we have good products.
Yeah.
We just need the module in which
to operate from.
Right.
Awesome.
And so I took that into my consulting practice, and that is what I'm really pushing through. There always BVI, and always our products or services for financial services.
Yeah. Awesome.
And since the pendulum continued to shift, as they are rightfully doing in financial services, I too captured a few certifications that I committed to myself because those are the areas that I think will bring BVI most fruit, and that is captive insurance. And I just completed my TEP qualifications through the STEP Society. So I'm excited about trying to build a business on the backs of those two certifications.
Okay. So my takeaway on your advice is be a hustler.
You have to hustle. You have to hustle.
Because I'm like in awe. Because it's one of those things where I always tell people, I say, to see me come live with me is two different things. So imagine, people will see the glory, but they don't know the story.
Exactly.
That this is how you put yourself through to get a bachelor's by thinking about this from high school. In that this is your goal. So I'm going to start working on it from now. And do my part and not sit back and say, well, mommy's going to go to the bank and get a loan.
Exactly. Because that's what the kids do today.
Yeah, yeah.
When they ask you for $10, where am I going to get $10 from? Go to the bank. How does the money get to the bank?
Exactly. So it's like that work ethic, definitely starts from an early age. And it's not just about young, because sometimes when we say young, we're thinking teenagers, but I think, work ethic starts from as young as 4 and 5.
From your single digit, you're right, because today we do have some children under 10 already being entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Doing the lemonade stands, the different cupcakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny today also, I see a lot of the younger adults, they're not so interested in the JOB.
Yeah.
They want to do something practical. They want to do things that they like doing.
On
a lot
their
of them
own
are going
terms.
on their own terms.
Yeah.
They don't want to get up 8:30 to 4:30. And I can speak from my
Experience.
own son.
Okay.
Yeah, and because he studied sports science, and he's into football. He's a footballer. So I mean, with that, how are you going to fit into the JOB?
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying J-O-B for a reason.
Yeah.
So for him, he's already thinking entrepreneurship. It's in his DNA.
Yeah, well,
Three generations.
At this generation, he's the
DNA.
third one coming now, so he has no choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thing is just to stay focused. I always tell him just stay focused on what you want and run the course.
Yeah.
Stay focused and run the course. Yeah. You're gonna meet bumps. That's a given.
Yeah.
But just stay focused.
And I'm glad that you keep emphasizing that also, because a lot of times people I should say they are easily discouraged. So, you know, in the last 4 years, we've heard the word resilience a lot, but you build resilience by going through challenges.
That is correct.
So it's a good thing when you do have those opportunities, because that's where you start to build that muscle.
Someone said just recently, and it resonated with me, that whenever you're trying to do something, if you don't meet challenges, it's not of God. So what is that saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you meet the challenge or you meet that bump, say, all right.
You're probably still on the right road.
Yes, and you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, because the expectation is, you know, if it's the right thing to do, it's going to be easy. But, you know, I reminded a friend of mine just the other day the same thing. If it's worth doing, it's not going to be easy. So that's a good indicator for you to keep pursuing it. You know?
That's right. And there are a lot of things and a lot of ideas that we get. Some of them, yes, your spirit will tell you. If you're really connected to your inner spirit, it will tell you, no, shift this or shift that. Don't do this, don't bring that. But there are those where you're meeting the bumps and the spirit's still saying, go, keep going, go. You know, so you have to listen.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier, that spiritual leader, that spiritual mentor that you have is important.
The godly counsel.
Yeah, it's important.
I find myself referring to that a lot lately. Yeah, it's important to have godly counsel in your life, because again, it helps to validate when everything else around you doesn't seem to be going where you think it should be.
Absolutely.
But that walk of faith, you know, I hear that a lot also in you, in terms of, you know, you walk by faith.
Absolutely.
Not by sight. Awesome. So how do you balance all of this?
Balance. That again is something that I speak a lot of to the women. For me, I had to learn it. It's not something that you just...
We tend to keep going beyond the limits. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, it's something that you have to practice. You have to have discipline. And one of the first things that I kind of pulled up and said, hey, we only have X amount of hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I need X to rest. You need X for you. And so you try to divide that time, and I'm just going within a day, how much family time, which is very important, you want to give, me time, and me time not only just doing frivolous things, but sometimes meditation, connecting with that spiritual part of you is important. You have your family time, and then you have your career, and you have your community time. You have to balance it.
Okay. So basically how you managing your schedule around what your priorities are.
Exactly. I prioritize and I go with a schedule. If it ain't on the schedule, it ain't happening.
Yeah, you sound like me.
Because, if it ain't on the calendar.
It wasn't on the task list, I'm sorry, I forgot.
And I mean, you have some room for flexibility.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but really going in on a day-to-day basis and trying to balance everything, you have to work with a schedule.
Yeah.
Now, I have our moms, anybody that have their parents today, we need to treasure them. So, of course, I only have one set of parents now, my mom and my stepdad, dad.
Yeah.
And so I try to spend time with them at least twice a week.
Okay.
I will go there for breakfast.
Okay.
My mom enjoys making me a cup of tea and my sandwich, and she's happy. I get
you
fed.
happy? Yeah, win-win for everybody.
You know, exactly. And they appreciate it.
Yeah.
They like that time when you come to look for them. So I even encourage my nieces, my own son, and so forth, go and spend time with your grandparents. Because again, growing up, I always liked speaking and spending time with the older people in the community.
Yeah.
They have so much intelligence to
Wealth
share
of knowledge.
with us.
Oh, yeah.
I would encourage any young person today, go and spend some time with your grandparents if they're still alive and listen to those stories. I used to like listening to my dad. I used to like listening to my aunts.
Yeah.
I used to like listening to my stepmom's mother. back in Bruce Bay in the days.
Yeah.
You know, because it's important. They're not only telling you stories, you know, you're learning, but they are so happy that somebody is sitting and listening to them at their age.
Yeah.
You know, it's a win-win, like you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the whole, I think in terms of community, we oftentimes, I think we've missed that. I don't know. Well, no, you know what it is? We've gotten too busy. Is what we say.
Like that busy word.
I know, you see me put it in quotes. We tell ourselves we're too busy to spend that time where really that quality time is so important for you as well as the other person.
Very important.
And as it relates to building relationship.
Yes, very important that you even said that. Sometimes you just have to shut down. I gone by my mother. And you're just there until.
Yeah. And that's how I get sometimes, you know, because I have godparents, you have extended family all around, but, you know, sometimes we're like ships passing in the night. If, again, we don't say, listen, this for family is a priority for me. And I remember distinctly when it was like, again, it's like you're on the grind, full speed, doing the JOB, and my niece was probably 5 at the time. And a weekend, she was like, Auntie, I miss you. I live right next door, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wasn't seeing them. They wasn't seeing me. And I had to be like, okay, no, sometimes you need to just pull up, grab them up, let's go to the beach, you know, and spend the afternoon with them. And because those are the memories now they're going to have going forward.
Creating memories is important. I tell you, my nieces, again, still empowering women, but I'm able to now pass it on to them. Once a year, I used to do a niece and nephews treat, but then the nephews kind of trickled off.
Okay.
So it's now a niece's treat.
Okay.
And every year I would do something special with them, for them. The last memorable one we were able to do is where we just did a spa day at my house.
Okay.
Had them come ready for that, and just expose them to different things in taking care of themselves, right?
Teaching them how to do me.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
we did that, and then last year we weren't able to do much. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But to pick that up, what we're doing actually tonight, we're all going out.
Okay.
So we're going on a happy hour, but I have a little surprise for them when they come to the happy hour.
Okay.
But I try to treat them special, let them know that they are special, and this is what you should expect from anybody else that is coming into your life. And you know, you pass it on to your kids.
Yeah.
So
And that's very key because, again, we're teaching them how to set those standards, where the boundaries are, you know, where you don't accept less than what you would do for yourself.
Exactly.
You know, that's awesome. So you're awesome, auntie, like me.
Yes.
Alrighty.
See, I didn't have any daughters, but I have plenty.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, God bless the nieces. I love them. I love them.
Yeah, well, one of the things I do with my son, like I said, because that's all I have. We used to do a date night before he, you know,
He moved
went
on.
off.
Yeah, he moved on.
And the purpose of that date night with him is to give him a chance to express himself, and let me understand and hear his development to see how I need to shift my interaction with him. You see?
Yeah.
And I think as parents, aunties, we need to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying aunties too because they may have parents who they cannot
Relate to on that level.
So
yeah.
that's where you step in now to be that person for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I love it,
Yeah.
and so I do it.
Yeah. And that's so important. So amidst all of that, what's next?
What's next for me, Shayna? Again, just trying to build IPS to one of the sought after corporate intermediary companies. It's a BVI company from the ground up, so really trying to get that out there. And also with the Women in Need organization, which I've been getting a lot of light bulbs on that aspect these last couple of days, trying to build that to be the resource for women, all women to come to, regardless. I'm even aspiring as far as one day having a safe house.
Awesome.
Having a safe house where women can come for refuge, but not just refuge to stay forever.
Yeah.
Once you come in, you get involved in a program that will reform you and rehabilitate you back into your independent self.
So they leave
That is the
stronger
ultimate goal,
and better.
and they will be stronger and better.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes we don't want to acknowledge, I would say, that, you know, there are instances when, you know, you have that level of need. So having, you know, programs like that is not saying anything bad necessarily about us, just that, you know, people go through human situations,
That is correct.
you know.
But I'm sitting in your chair, and I'm going to be vulnerable on the camera a little bit. I mean, I'm sitting in a chair, and I am not perfect. And I, too, have needs where sometimes I go off to my same mentors or my spiritual father, and I say, we spend the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, and for me to just download and get my upload and back on track
to
again.
be able to put out. And that's,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that point, because I think that is so important for us as women to remember that we can't pour out when we have not received.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
we have to always be receiving more, really, than we put out
That's right.
in order to not deplete ourselves. So that's very good advice.
And when you are in a counseling seat or the listening seat, because you are taking in so much, sometimes you have to find that.
Yeah, the outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so key. Awesome. Well, Alicia, this has been great conversation.
Yes, it has.
And, you know, really, and truly, I hope somebody was very much inspired by the hustler in you. When they see you now, they're going to look at you differently.
I
And tell you, pass the popcorn.
I realized, I said, Shayna is having me on this show. What can I share about myself with the listening audience? Well, I really hope that I was able to inspire someone, empower someone. And if you need a mentor, I am here. You can find me, winbvi@gmail.com.
Okay. I was about to tell you, please let the people know how to talk. And also IPS, how would they contact you?
IPS 3419966. We do free consultations. If you need any type of solution or just a chat for some direction on what you should be doing for your business, give us a call.
Awesome. All right. Well, Alicia, thanks for being here, and thanks for
having
making
me.
impact.
Thank
All
you.
right. Public service announcement. As always, be safe, be well, mask up. Let's do what we got to do. Word of encouragement. I kind of gave it away from earlier. Here's to strong women. May we know them. May we be them. May we raise them. And we probably add a line that says, and we also have to train our young men to cherish them.
Yes, I like that.
So that's going to be the Vigilate Dialogues modification of that. If you missed our show, we are here every Saturday at 3 p.m. CBN 90.9 FM. We also replay at 9 a.m. on Sundays. The Vigilate Dialogues is sponsored by Smith & Associates, your business planning and project management specialist. Call us at 340-1199 for a free consultation. Definitely go on Facebook, like our page so that you can keep up with the different episodes. And we're going to have our videos up on YouTube, so you can check us out on our YouTube channel. Until next time, I am your host, Shayna Smith Archer, saying let's continue the conversation for a better Virgin Islands.